Hey guys, welcome back to Knowledge with Kamasi. I'm your girl Kamasi. Thank you so much for tapping on this video. In today's video, I'll be talking about beauty standards, something that has been on the horizon for years but has become more dominant in my eyes due to the fast-paced society, the new generation, on how we view life, the perspective, what we've been taught, what we've been made to believe, and how brainwashed we are. Stay tuned. So a lot of persons don't know what beauty standards are, so let me give you somewhat of a definition. Beauty standards are individual qualifications that women are expected to meet to embody a more feminine energy, right? And I know that you've seen a lot of videos talking about do this to be more feminine, do this to attract a man, do this, do that. Yeah, and a lot of that takes us from our safe place, our happy place, our peace, just to make other persons happy. Now, I looked up the meaning, or not really the meaning, but the definition of a woman that is considered sexy or that's following beauty standards, and I saw that it said tanned lips, space between the eye. I don't know what's called a good amount of space between the eyes. I don't know how that matters. Clear skin, a petite body. You know, you're supposed to, we portray that we're supposed to have this flat stomach with this small waist and this broad hip and this the nice size boobs or no boobs at all, and this thick ass, right? And you know, a lot of us, 90% of us, don't naturally match up to that. There's something that's always going to be off because we're not perfect, right? And I think that the industry, the beauty industry, has pushed this on us for years. No, don't get me wrong, we will always have a beauty standard to follow, because something will come in style, body count, something will come in style and we follow it. That is beauty standard. No, let me tell you where I see a problem is where it is being pushed on you that when you are looking natural, you aren't looking good. And a lot of men and a lot of women will say nothing no go so. But at the same time, if a person steps out in their natural form, oh, she did look good, man. She not good without makeup. She not this, she not that. And you let them feel uncomfortable natural. But when they are in something that's trending or something that you have been told is beautiful, you have been told like, okay, if you have broad nose, yeah, that not pretty. You're not supposed to be straight to match your body. Your body, you're not supposed to be straight. You know, I just described it. Oh, curvy. You're supposed to be a Coca-Cola girl. Nigga, you're supposed to have, you're not supposed to have no big belly. You're supposed to have a flat abs, right? And I get that. But we don't understand that the industry keeps changing, but it doesn't change to our benefit. What it does is it finds another way to get to us. Once we catch up and say, alright, we're being brainwashed, or we're being led to believe that we have to do this and we have to do that, and we come out of that norm, it comes again with something that's more relatable. Oh, you have spots. I'm not saying I go against spots, because I don't like to see them, because I wasn't born with them, right? But there are some things, each time you adjust, you'll find something else that's imperfect, because we're not perfect, and that's just who we are. No, you know, beauty has even stepped over in the workplace. There are some workplaces that don't hire you if you're not light skinned, or if you can't wear, you refuse to wear makeup. And I don't see that as making any sense, because it's the person that we are underneath that counts, right? And if we aren't able to radiate the energy that we have within, we'll never be happy. And these beauty standards don't make any sense. And let me touch on black women. We spend the most money in the beauty industry, and that trend has not dropped for a year. We are always at the top for spending money on beauty, and we are so beautiful. So we have been led to believe from back in slavery that we are inferior to others, and I think that plays a big part. From then till now, we still haven't come out of the circle to believe that we are superior. If you ever take a stand to notice that a lot of others, I don't want it to be sound racist, but beauty standards has contributed to racism, colorism, classism, and all of those stuff. So why not touch on the topic where you don't like black women, but you wear a hairstyle that is of a black woman. When a black woman wears it, she's ugly, but when you wear it, you're glorified, right? You're glamorized. We are curvy. We're naturally curvy. We're naturally curvy. I'm not saying all of us, but most of us are. We have some form of curve and some form of petiteness to our bodies. You don't like black women, you tell us that we're ugly, but at the same time, you are doing the same thing that we have naturally. You're trying to look like us, but we are ugly, and I don't get that. Now, this thing with the color of the skin, saying that you have to be, like, you have watched promotions and all commercials and all those things, and you always see brown girls, and I'm not trying to be racist, but I'm being very honest. They're always, most of them are light skin. But then you can't blame the industry, because that's what we want. When you see a black girl and you look a certain way, you're quick to judge her. She couldn't wear something different, she couldn't come on different, right? But the thing is, we pay these people, and we fail to realize that we contribute to the society having beauty standards by saying, alright, she shouldn't punish her, because she should have come on it. You come on, you're going to promotion, a beach promotion, and you're not fully covered, so to speak. The Marcos and say, you should have wear that specific bikini, whatever. You go somewhere else, somebody's gonna say if you couldn't wear clothes, right? So we have set a standard, and a lot of persons are unable to meet the standard because it's unrealistic. It don't make no sense, and the industry keeps pushing it, right? Take for example the last year when the Black Lives Matter thing happened, and a number of companies were called out for not saying Black Lives Matter. They said Black Lives Matter for a short period of time, and then they were gone. Because in all honesty, they aren't really in support. They just know that when they promote something, black people gravitate because of how brainwashed we are, how inferior we feel. We still have not reached that place to believe that we are beautiful, that we are superior. Have you ever wondered about the European, the Egyptian statues? They have broad nose, like my nose. They have broad nose, and that just goes to show that black persons were the first on a number of scenes. But anything people tell we run with. We like run with things we don't like. We're so gullible to information. We don't like to seek information for ourselves. The information is there, and I'm not saying a lot of it is fake, but it takes really searching, really being interested to understand where we're coming from as people, as a culture, to know that we have been taught to think less of ourselves. And unless we are brave enough to step out and be different from others and not follow other person's norm, we will always be like this. We will always have to work for people. We will always think less of ourselves, and we always try to change. And I get it, because beauty standards are heavily pushed by television, shows, relationships, schools, magazine, movies, the law. I don't know where beauty standards aren't pushed on us, especially as women, to look a specific way, to be a dolly. No, at one point it was the blue eyes, the straight hair, the blonde hair. You know, that Marilyn Monroe kind of look, right? That was way back then in the 70s and 80s, right? Then it moved to having this, to being a thick girl with thick thighs, small waist, who is able to afford a certain brand, and brands have something to do with it, because brands make beauty standard. Everybody was talking about the Birkin bag, and some persons were saying they wouldn't buy it, and some females just buy it to show off. Some persons were rented to feel like they were a part of a society which they do not belong to, right? So I'm saying that beauty standards will always be here, but it's the extent to which we invest ourselves in beauty standards that do not apply to us that bothers me. Step on a few toes. If we look back in slavery day, I don't believe everything that I'm taught. I believe that some of the information is to keep us mentally captive, mental slaves. That's just me. White females especially were tasked to work in houses, while black females were tasked to work on plantations just because of the color of our skin and our physical features. But people might say we're out of slavery, but we're still there because we still treat ourselves like an inferior race, which I believe that we are not. We are so powerful, and this video is starting to feel like something about racism, but it is not. I'm just touching on everything and telling you the facts, right? And the cosmetic industry is geared towards black women. In my eyes, it's geared towards black women because annually, and this has never dropped, this research, this finding has never dropped, black women spend the most money on cosmetic products, surgeries, hair, and all of that. And I believe that they believe that we are not beautiful, which is not true. So if your nose is too broad, they find a way to say it. They don't always directly say, okay, your nose is too broad. But the thing I wanted to ask, you not smell out your nose, miss or sir? Like, the nose never come here for pretty, your nose come here for smell. You know how many persons can't use their nose and stuff like that and don't want to change their nose? Broad their nose, I think it's the more you can inhale. I don't know. But I'm just saying, right? And we have these standards: high cheekbones, no wrinkles. We've gone against aging. Some things are inevitable, like death, right? And the thing is, each time you change something to match a beauty standard, you are still uncomfortable. You still find something to pick out. You change your breast, fine. Then you realize, oh, my hips don't match in line with my breast and how my figure is going to look. So now you go ahead and change your hip. Change your hip now. Your ass is not too big. Not big enough, I should say. So you change your ass. I believe that as black people, I don't really want to touch on black people, but I believe that the skincare industry, the beauty industry on a whole, is geared towards trapping and making a lot of money, which they already have and continue to do, because as I said before, we as black women spend the most money on cosmetic and in the cosmetic industry, and that research and that finding has not changed over decades. So you can go and research it for yourself. I was gonna come here and read some information, but I think the information is everywhere, and sometimes you need to search for yourself, because not everything I'm gonna tell you you're gonna believe. And sometimes even when I find the information, you're still not gonna believe, because you've been taught to think one way, you've been trained to think one way without even know that you've been trained. They've been trained in your brain for years, for centuries. And when I look at it, I'm like, self-esteem has a big part to play, because you're gonna have a child and you're gonna tell that child that they're black and ugly, or their nose too broad, or their ears too big, or they need weight, they need to grow like a bottom, they need like a breast. What else? Their ear rough, their ear crusty. And don't get me wrong, natural hair isn't the easiest to deal with, but I believe that the more you learn about your hair type, be very specific, the easier it is for you. You can't use everything something everybody else I use. Just like clothes and beauty standard. Just because you see somebody in a belly skin, that's not your body type. You don't need to buy a belly skin, because it won't fit you how it fits them. And a lot of persons buy and do reviews and say, oh, this too big, this not look like I look on the fashion over my arm. No, miss, that's not your body type. So you as a parent telling your child that they're too black and ugly, their nose is too broad, their breasts are too big, their ass is too small, their waist is too big, their stomach is too big, you're contributing to their insecurities. And when they go around persons who you have told them are beautiful, or has not X'd out of being classed as ugly, you let them feel insecure, and it's their insecurities that spark a plug to feel like, okay, I need to do this or I need to do that to belong. No, classism is also something else. If you don't look or speak a certain way, you're seen from the lower class, you're seen as somebody's from the lower class, you're not class above the upper class. You're not in their so-called league, as persons would like to say. And I believe that this contributes, because persons want to be able to move up that ladder, especially to get out of poverty. And because of looks, they can't move, or because of where they're from, that makes no sense, right? And I believe that all these things come together to form the point. So it's not only that we're brainwashed, that society goes against our features. We have been psychologically manipulated, and if you're not strong, persons who are manipulated, who are sad, who are unhappy, who are not at peace, will go against you for standing up for something that they'd love to stand up for, because they believe that when you stand out, persons will go against you, and that now they're not braced enough for all of that. Classism is very big, it's a very, very big part, because I know places that if you're not light skinned, or you don't look a specific way when you're dark skinned, they won't take you, right? And that makes no sense. I'm there to work. I am there to work. I'm not there to look anybody. Well, I don't know if people are there with nobody. Me not look nobody. I'm there to work. And that's just that. But all these industries and all the things that we're sold on a day-to-day basis, if we don't pay attention and we don't find information for ourselves, we'll be forever trapped. And I'm a bit in line with the feminine energy aspect, but I don't believe that we need to change ourselves to be more feminine. Yes, investing in our looks are very important, because as you know, first impressions last. That's also pushed by the beauty standards. I'm not saying that you should go for a job and you're in a short shirt or whatever, you're not properly dressed, or you're going somewhere you don't spell properly, your arm not shave, all of those things. I'm not saying that, and I'll never come here and say that. But for example, look at the celebrities who after a while they step out and speak on these same beauty standards that they push on us as women. When person starts saying, oh, and I seen you one time and your face don't look like that and you don't look like this, but you push this look, you push a narrative that you are unhappy with, and then when persons go against them, they're like, yeah, I won't supportive, I'm human too. Maybe you should tell them, say you're human, so you don't need to change that because you're unhappy. Maybe you should have done that. A lot of persons are afraid to do that. As I said, I don't have a problem with anybody doing their body. It's their body. That's just me. If you're doing it, do it for yourself. Do it for nobody but yourself. Ensure that when you look in that mirror, you can still see a part of who you are. Because there's no sense in trying to please everybody else when you are unhappy. That made no sense to me, and this is like the fourth or fifth video I'm going to say to you. Nah, please nobody, and me unhappy. That's just me, right? But I believe that celebrities push these narratives too, and I cannot blame them, because as regular individuals, I call myself a regular individual, we expect them to look a certain way because there's a set beauty standard. And this is what I'm coming back to. Beauty standards are all around us, but it's when we try to push something specific on a person for them to change. Because if one and two celebrities come and they're not overdressed, look at Billie Eilish. They took a picture of her. She was in a regular spaghetti top. Her hair was in a regular messy bun. She was in a regular slippers or regular regular joggers, and everybody was creating a fuss. No, that's hurt for a person, because you cannot match what everybody else is doing. You can't match everybody fly. You can't afford expensive things. You don't look like them. You are you for a reason. And in a few years, you realize that everybody looks the same, and you who remain yourself will stand out. Like this natural hair phenomena that's coming back, where everybody is going back natural, etc. Now, I understand where some persons cream their hair or straighten their hair because it's hard to manage. Learn about yourself, learn about the different aspects of your body, learn about your hair type. That will make things easier for you. Dive and indulge in knowing you. You can't out there know about everybody else and don't know about yourself. That doesn't make any sense. The more time you spend on investing in yourself, the easier life gets for you, the less insecure you are. The more you do shadow work, the more you do therapy, which black people go against. But if you need to do therapy, find somebody to do it with. There's no need to stay unhappy, unhealthy, and not at peace. So thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. See you next week.